He did accuse Michael Cohen of lying during his testimony on Monday because Michael Cohen insisted that he was speaking to Donald Trump. And a key part of this case is that the jury really has to prove that Trump was involved in the hush money repayment, the repayment of the money Michael Cohen paid Stormy Daniels. So that's really the central piece. So it makes sense that Todd Blanche was emotionally charged and up in arms over Michael Cohen, and saying he was speaking to Trump when he may or may not have been.
Now, Donald Trump's former lawyer and fixer has admitted lying repeatedly to protect his then boss and his own wife during cross-examination at the former president's criminal trial. Michael Cohen was confronted with false statements he made to Congress, to investigators and to a judge who jailed him for 3 years. Caitlin Hornig is a reporter at the US Sun and is following the trial.
He was grilled again by Trump's attorney, Todd Blanche. And what we saw was really Cohen stayed cool, calm, and collected. And coming into his first day on the stand on Monday, we weren't sure what to expect from him. But we've really seen this kind of chilled demeanor from him, whereas Todd Blanche was really kind of up in arms, and he was flailing his arms at one point. He raised his voice and got kind of heated. And really the central piece of today was over this October 24th, 2016 phone call, where Michael Cohen alleged that he was speaking to Donald Trump about the hush money payment to Stormy Daniels. But Todd Blanche hit back today and said that it was actually Michael Cohen speaking to one of Trump's bodyguards, Keith Schiller, about Michael Cohen being the victim of prank phone calls and text messages. So that was really the central piece today, and when things really got emotionally charged.
And a lot of this is surrounding whether Michael Cohen is a credible witness.
Yes, absolutely. So again, when we knew that Michael Cohen was going to be the key witness in this trial and that his testimony really could make or break this case for Donald Trump, part of Todd Blanche's cross-examination today was drilling Michael Cohen about his previous crimes and convictions for lying to Congress previously. And we know he served prison time for that and was released on home confinement, which is when he started his Mea Culpa podcast, on which he has attacked Donald Trump. So again, knowing that, the prosecutors, the jury have to take all of this into consideration when evaluating Michael Cohen's testimony and his credibility.
And it was interesting. I mean, you mentioned Todd Blanche, the attorney. I mean, he was shouting at one point, "It's a lie, you're lying."
Yeah, and that is specifically, again, centered around the October 24th, 2016 phone call. He did accuse Michael Cohen of lying during his testimony on Monday because Michael Cohen insisted that he was speaking to Donald Trump. And a key part of this case is that the jury really has to prove that Trump was involved in the hush money repayment, the repayment of the money Michael Cohen paid Stormy Daniels. So that's really the central piece. So it makes sense that Todd Blanche was emotionally charged and up in arms over Michael Cohen, and saying he was speaking to Trump when he may or may not have been.
Are the US public captivated by this? I mean, just give us a sense of how engaged people are and how much coverage this is getting.
Absolutely. So I think what's important to note is that people are actually standing outside. They're queuing outside of the courthouse here in Lower Manhattan, vying for one of about 6 seats that are available inside the courtroom and in the overflow room at the courthouse. They are really, really chomping at the bit to get in and witness this action. We know this is the first criminal trial of a current or former US president. So again, that in itself is captivating, but the fact that people are queuing up in line and hiring line sitters to monitor their place in line, and people are paying others to take over their place in line. One woman was trying to sell her spot in line for $450.
Wow.
It's remarkable. I've never seen anything like it. Typically, we see people standing in line and selling their spots in line for things like concert tickets, not criminal trials. So yes, it's safe to say the public, especially here in New York, are captivated by what's going on. And it's, kind of the talk of the town around here.
And is there a sense that people's views are changing? Are they, often when people are captivated, they're not necessarily listening to all of the detail of the case. I'm just wondering how Michael Cohen is viewed and indeed how Trump is viewed throughout all of this.
Yeah, it's interesting. Michael Cohen has been very vocal about Donald Trump before this case, during this case. He's garnered a lot of attention from the TikTok that he posted a couple weeks ago, where he was wearing a T-shirt that depicted Donald Trump locked up behind bars. And he's kind of spewing this rhetoric that he would love to see Trump go to prison. Now he's taking the stand, and this is, his testimony has been the most highly anticipated. So there's, the sense of camaraderie almost that he's built for himself, gearing up to take the stand is one thing. And then Donald Trump, he hosted a rally in New Jersey last weekend that drew upwards of about 100,000 people were the estimates. So again, we're seeing here that people are rallying around him and supporting him as he's going through this trial. And then you do have people on the flip side who are just eager to get it over with so that we can move forward with the election.
So that is Caitlin Hornick, who's a reporter at the US Sun. She is following the trial, so actually might get wrapped up, this case, in the not too distant future. We will, of course, continue to bring you updates here on Times Radio.
Well, thank you very much. I think it was a very interesting day. It was a fascinating day. And it shows what a scam this whole thing is. I didn't violate any law. It was a scam. This case, it was going to be brought, which it should have never been brought, should have been brought 7 or 8 years ago. They didn't do that because they wanted to bring it right in the middle of the election, and especially since we're leading in every poll. New York has got to do something about what's happening, because you look at Judge Engoron, you look at Judge Kaplan, what they've done, it's disgraceful. Everyone's laughing at the New York system, and companies are leaving, people are leaving, but major companies with tremendous taxpayer dollars and employers of millions of people, literally, people are leaving. They're taking their companies, and they're all watching this case, and they're watching Engoron too, and they're watching Kaplan. It's very sad. Then we have story after story about how this trial is one that should have, as they say, never been charged. It should have never been brought. And again, if it was going to be brought, it should have been brought years ago. They're trying to rush to get it done before the election so that they can harm me, so they can hurt their political opponent. They're rushing. All this rush. There's no rush. These trials take forever. But this one, they're rushing it. We're here early in the morning and we leave in the evening. Now the judge wants to extend the time periods so that we can get this thing done fast before the election. It's terrible. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. That includes the other cases too, including the civil cases. And they all come out indirectly and directly. They come out of the White House and the DOJ. I want to say just one thing. I've seen some very bad news come out on inflation, on the economy, on the EV mandate, electric vehicle mandate, how crazy it is. It's going to destroy our country. It's so crazy. But I saw something today that's maybe worse than anything. President Xi of China, I know him well, and President Putin of Russia, I know him well. They're right now together working on plans where they combine, where they get together and do damage, because that's ultimately what they're thinking about, doing damage. And you take a look at what President Xi said today. He fully expects to take Taiwan. He made that statement today. That's a big statement. And I'm sitting here in an icebox. I'm sitting here listening to a case that even people from CNN and MSDNC say should never have been brought. I've been sitting here for almost 4 weeks, and we still have a long way to go. And I just want to thank all the lawyers involved, because they've been really working hard. And I'm spending a lot of time, and I'm spending a lot of money, which is what they want. They want me to spend my time and my money. And I'm willing to do it because ultimately we have to fight for the Constitution. Thank you very much, everyone.
Are you ready to testify? Do you want Mr. Smith to testify? Are you going to debate?